Hello, I'm Rich Dean with West Coast Collector Cars in Oregon, and today I've got an exceptionally nice 1935 Ford 3-window coupe to show you. Now, when I say exceptionally nice, I mean probably a museum piece. So it really is very nice. Finished off in a factory stock configuration, but there's not only some nice upgrades, but some very nice options on this particular car. I'm going to show them to you. But let's start off here with the paint, finished in black, and of course it is a base coat, clear coat, and you can see, I mean, everywhere you look, it's deep. It's deep. Look at that. Got a nice little green pinstripe that follows about an inch below the character line here, all the way down both sides of the car. And then, of course, 35 had this nice venting on the hood with the trim here. And all the trim and bright work, by the way, is excellent. The chrome is excellent. Everywhere you look on this car is just as fine as it can be. Windshield, check this. Got the little Ford logo in the glass, on all of the glass, every piece of glass. Everything works on this car. Everything works. It's an all-metal car, so no fiberglass here. You know, sometimes you'll see fiberglass fenders and such. This is all Henry Ford steel. Beautiful, nice, you know, and this nice, you know, rubber matting here on the step on both sides. I'll take you in the interior here on the passenger side. Finished off in this mohair, kind of a camel color, really. And also the interior metal is finished off. You probably won't be able to see this metallic. It's a little dark here, but man, this is such a neat color, and it's all very well finished. Got the factory mat here, of course, and then you got this nice little supplemental carpeting that's made for the car. This one, they put seat belts in, and of course it wouldn't have had seat belts in 1935. But, you know, today we kind of want seat belts and everything, so that's kind of a nice little extra feature. Now, this is a business coupe. So, a business coupe wouldn't have had a back seat. You would have had a chamber back here to put your wares or your briefcase or whatever you were selling and so forth. So, that's why you have this area back here. But also, this car has a rumble seat. So I suspect because of that, this window has the capability of rolling down. You just use this to roll the back window down here, and you can speak to your passengers. Also, look at that little shade here to shade your or anything you want to keep from the public eye there. Little dome light, you know, works. Up here, this is a speaker, which was an option to have a speaker up here in the roof line for your radio, which works great. But take a look. Doors closed, excellent. You know, nice lines, nice gaps, nice and even, very clean. As I say, everywhere you look. Should point the roof out to you. You know, back then, this is how they handled the roof, and I suspect it's because there probably wasn't an ability to form the sheet metal at least this big, you know, so they kind of, you know, did this fabric here. It works, it's nice. They did a nice job on it. Talk to you a little bit about the wheels and tires. Now, the wheels, these spokes you could get from Ford, but these particular spokes, and there's 5 of them, these are Kelsey Hayes. And what Kelsey Hayes did is they put a little bit of a curvature in the spoke, and what that did, as you can see here, what that did is it provided more rigidity, and they were just made for a stronger wheel, and therefore wouldn't warp and then, of course, last longer. So that was kind of a desirable upgrade for these back in the day, and this car has those with the derby caps and these wide white wall bias ply tires like you would have had back in 1935 as well. These are your steps, step here and step here, to get into the rumble seat. And so there's your rumble seat. Now, what I always like to look for, you want to look in here in the trenches and so forth to see how nicely it was finished. And as you can see, it's excellent. You might take a look down in the well there. You can see the Your weather stripping, nice and pliable. Down in the well, you can see nice matting and so forth, and the upholstery on the side. Very nicely done. This one has dual tail lights. This is your luggage rack, and you have these two thumb screws, one on each side, and that would flatten the rack down, but you know, they reproduce these. But this particular luggage rack is a factory original from 1935, and it's just been completely restored, and so all of your bright work, trim, little V8 call out, nicely painted in the green, it just makes a nice accent piece. And then of course your spare, which houses the same type of tire and wheel as the other four. And that's where it carried the spare originally. Bumper chrome, as I say, excellent. You know, the bracketry and everything is all painted, very nice. In this light back here, in this particular, you know, on this particular side, you know, this was if you put the brake on or had the lights on, this would shoot up and be your license plate light. I'll point you to the website, westcoastcollectorcars.com, where I've got not only pictures and information, of course, on the Coupe, but I've got pictures of the undercarriage, so you'll want to take a look at that. Of course, it's finished off beautifully as well. And a couple other things. This one has hydraulic brakes. So back in 1935, you would have had mechanical brakes. You know, kind of dicey, you know, especially in today's driving situations. But this one's been upgraded to hydraulic brakes, so that's always a fine upgrade. This particular car is part of one of the 5 cars that I received in a collection, and all 5 are just gorgeous. They're top of the line restoration, built or restored rather by a shop here locally that does fine work. I have one of their cars myself, and very, very happy with it. But anyway, let's see. This is a Ford gas cap. You probably see the little Ford logo on there, and you just flip this up. It's locking. Kind of neat. Let me show you this. This is kind of a cool little trait here. See this right here? This is a little compartment. Opens up, and you reach in here, and this is a tool bag. So, you know, you would have carried some tools, you know, back then, in case you needed to change a tire or do a little repair. But take a look at this. Yeah. Ford USA. Actual Ford, original Ford tooling. Very cool. So anyway, it just, I thought it was kind of neat, you know, it stashes back here in this little compartment. So if you ever need that, it's always nice to have at a car show or something. You can show that. I'll take you on the interior on this side. Beautiful as well. The windows, you know, all roll up and down nicely, as you can see. Point out to you now, in 1935, you may or may not know this, but if you'll notice when I crank the window down, this window slides back. See how it slid back? It didn't go straight down. Well, what that is a little vent. So you could use that to, you know, pull some fresh air in, or if a person was a smoker, I believe, you know, then that smoke, you could just crack the window, see, and go out there. But otherwise, you just keep rolling the window down, and it does go all the way down, as you can see. Very nice. All the whiskers are new, all the weather stripping. This cord here that, you know, you pull the door closed, and the nice finished bright work. Jams are nice, nicely finished, you know, your welting here, or windlace as they call it. Now inside, you know, you had a really nice complement of gauges, you know, all the common gauges that you saw in cars that are much, much newer. You know, you got a fuel gauge, a temp gauge, speedometer here, and this is the mileage that's actually on the restoration, so that's 1,375 miles on the restoration. Temperature gauge, oil pressure, amp right here. Horn works. These are where you turn your lights on. That's how you turn the lights on here. This cranks the windshield out, so you have ventilation there as well. Full functioning radio. The radio does work. And this is something I should point out to you as well. This car is equipped with a Columbia 2-speed differential. So that makes it nice for, you know, if you're going to get out on the highway and drive. You know, these cars typically 45, 50 is about all you want to do. But with that 2-speed, that makes it nice to drive in today's traffic. And that was a dealer-installed option in 1935. Emergency brake down there. This is where the cigarette lighter would be. But this car is equipped with an auxiliary fuel pump. So let's say you haven't used the car for a month or so and you don't want to sit there and crank on that starter. You just push this in and the little fuel pump will supply some fuel up to your carburetor so you don't have to crank on it. Kind of a cool little feature. Oh, one last thing in here I should point out. This is a very rare option here. This this rear view mirror with the Ford clock. You just don't see that. That's a very nice piece. Door closes nice. Again, all trim and bright work. Everything works properly. It's just a very well restored car. Take you under the hood here. You know, when you lift the hood up, you got to be careful, you know, down in the lights and by the lights and so forth. But this is a little detent here, and this rubber piece just sits right here in this detent, and that holds your hood up so you can work on it or, you know, show the engine. So what this is a 221 cubic inch Flathead V8, and that's what they had back then. They produced 85 horsepower. This is a single carburetor. This will be your generator here. This one, they went ahead and put in a master cutoff switch, so if you're not using the car for a period of time, you can just click that off, and so that's actually conveniently located there. Very clean and nice in here as well. So again, you know, you want to be very careful when you're lifting the hood up and putting it back in place. Up front here, you know, of course, you got the nice big chrome grille and the running hound here. V8 indicating that you've got a V8 in here in the Ford emblem. Dual horns, nice big pod lights, all the chrome, the bumpers and so forth. Very nice up here. I'll show you this side of the engine too. Everything on this has been restored, by the way, so you don't have any unrestored components. These copper tubes here, this is part of that Columbia 2-speed differential that we talked about, operable from the interior, and these tubes go down. They're actually vacuum tubes, and that's how the 2-speed is operated. You probably wouldn't use it much unless you were, you know, gonna fly down the freeway. So, what I'd like to do now is I'll hop in the car, I'll start it, you'll hear it start, runs great, of course. These little flatheads run excellent. And what I'll do is I'll just drive a little V8, or a little V8, yeah, a little 8 figure 8 here around the parking lot, just so you kind of get a sense of you know, what it looks like when it's moving under its own power. a very comfortable little car, very easy to steer. Again, you know, hydraulic brakes, nice upgrade there. Here's your little cowl vent. Cowl vent works. See there? Yeah, you even got a radio in here that actually works. It's really well done. Very nice. Like I say, really almost a museum piece, if not a museum piece. Visors and so forth. Little sun visors here. The wiper works. I think I showed you the dome light earlier. It just, yeah, I can't say enough about it. The window cranks, everything is nice. It's as nice as it can be, it really is. But if I can answer any further questions for you about this 35 Coupe, don't hesitate to give me a call. Again, my name is Rich Dean, and this is West Coast Collector Cars. My number is 503-851-6763, and thank you for watching today.